Hi, I'm Vicky of Bondatrix. Usually on my YouTube channel I teach you about how to use some particular piece of equipment. Today I thought you might be interested to learn a bit more about me and who I am and what it's like running a fetish business. I got onto the kink scene at the young age of 18. As soon as I found out about it, I just went, okay, yep, that's what I've been missing, that's who I am, that's what I want in my life. And then I set about how to achieve that. So it's been a long time on the kink scene now, well over 20 years for me. I started up the business while I was at university. I just thought, what do I want to do with my life? I like making things. I started going to fetish markets, and at the time you could hardly buy any equipment. There was a handful of suppliers for the country. There was a tiny range of different things you could actually buy, and I thought I'd love to expand this and explore and make new things and create stuff that I want to play with and therefore other people will want to. So I then set about learning and experimenting and doing lots and lots and lots of product testing and having a wonderful time, going to kink clubs all over the country, exploring with one particular slave at the time that I went to lots of things with, who was my slave for quite a few years, and we both explored and learned together, and that was great fun. But also doing pick-up play with random people at clubs. Although as time went by and I became a regular at a lot of events, there were more people that I knew, so it wasn't playing with a stranger, it was playing with so-and-so that I'd met a couple of months back and played with, that I'd played with a couple of months before that, and built up a nice collection of different people on the scene that I knew, that I could chat to, that I could play with, that I could dominate, that I could tie up, that I could flog, that I could have a lot of fun with. In the meantime, the business was growing from strength to strength. I was learning new things all the time. I found a place that would teach you how to use industrial sewing machines, so that meant that I could start putting my own designs and patterns together, working on industrial machines, which is a far easier way to work with PVC and shiny fabrics, and start using leather and experimenting with how to stitch that together, because I found that created far stronger bonds than just riveting things together. And you need good, strong things if you're going to tie up people in BDSM gear. I'd done a degree in retail management, so plenty of business background for knowing how to run the business side of things. So putting the two together of the creative side and the business side meant that I've created a business that I've been able to live off full time for over 20 years now, and it's been a great life, and long may it continue. It's been varied, it's been exciting, it's involved lots of kink, it's involved lots of travel, it's involved lots of making things and getting to be creative, which I really enjoy as well, and turning it all into a profitable, successful business. I think a bit of the key to that has been that it is a fairly small business, which then means I can provide great customer service, because you're not just dealing with some big corporation who doesn't care about the individual customer. You're dealing with a small business where every customer actually gets listened to and heard, and we want you to have the best possible experience and the best time with all your kinky toys, because it's all a great hobby. And that's also led me to do a lot of teaching as part of running a fetish business. I think it's really important with kink that you know how to use things properly, that you know how to do things safely, that you know how to get the best out of the play that you're doing, the most out of the equipment that you're using, so that you can have a brilliant time with BDSM. And over the years I've taught all over the UK, and then started expanding into Europe in the last 5 or more years, and that's been great fun as well. It's been really interesting travelling the world anyway on my holidays, and always visiting kink clubs and events wherever I go in the world, and finding out how differently people do things, but then also getting to be able to teach in different countries and expand that knowledge has been great fun. I think we don't realise in the UK how lucky we are that the kink scene has been around for as long as it has, decades and decades and decades, that it's very established. There's a lot of variety in the kink scene in the UK, and there's an awful lot of clubs and events and workshops and markets and places to go all about kink. And then you start travelling into other countries where the kink scene's maybe only been there for 20 or 40 years, and to then get to educate them and give them some ideas and new things to try, that's always a fantastic experience as a teacher and a presenter. As well as being what I do for work, it's something that I enjoy in my personal life, which led me into turning it into a business. And that's always continued. I think one of the wonderful things about BDSM is there's so much variety to it. So I spent the first 10 years or so I was on the scene heavily into impact play. I'd do a bit of bondage stuff, but mostly to get someone in the right position that I wanted to then do the impact play that I wanted to do with them. And then about 10 years in, I thought, well, let's try this rope bondage that everybody else is doing. I fancy trying a new skill, so I went to lots of rope classes up and down the country and learned from lots of different teachers and did lots of practice. And then after a while it started to click, and so then I started enjoying rope. And then I met a slave who was heavily into other types of more intense extreme bondage, and started playing with them and found that I developed a taste as well for locking people away in isolation cells and completely mummifying them, and lots of wonderful different ways that I could play with bondage. And that's the fascinating thing. I've been playing with BDSM now with partners and slaves and all sorts of people all around the world for over 20 years, and there's still lots of new things that I haven't tried yet, that I either haven't wanted to yet, but I probably will one day, or I haven't met the right person that I wanted to experiment with that with. And it just feels like there's still so much left out there that I could enjoy, that I don't ever get bored of BDSM. I don't feel like I've been there and done that and I've experienced everything. There's always new bits out there to try, new people to meet, new experiences to have, new equipment to play with. And I love that variety and that continual exploration of myself and other people. I have worked as a pro-dom. I currently offer slave holidays where people can pay to come and play with me. I find that they're more fun than hourly sessions as a pro-dom, where you're just on a conveyor belt getting someone in, having a quick play with them, then sending them home. On a slave holiday, you actually get time to play with that person and get some knowledge between the two of you and build up some trusts, and then you can do some more interesting, more intense play than you could with someone who was just over for an hour. But as well as doing it on a pro level, I am a lifestyle dom. So I've always been dominant. I've always enjoyed having slaves, maids, chauffeurs, gardeners, people to just play with, people to come round to my house and do things for me to make my life easier as a dominant woman. And I really enjoy that side. It's an integral part of who I am and my life and my lifestyle, and I really enjoy that. With the business, the only type of slave labour that we have at Bondatrix is literally slaves in the UK. We make as much as we possibly can in the UK ourselves. We source as many things from other UK companies where we need raw materials, or if I need something making that I don't have the tools or the materials or the specialisation to make. There's a few little bits these days that it seems impossible to get from the UK that we do buy in, but then it's making sure that we keep a strict eye on the quality of what shows up and don't just sell things on just to make money, I want all the equipment that I sell to be really good things that are very usable, that will provide the best kink experience. There's nothing worse than getting partway through a scene and then the slave just rips apart the pair of cuffs you've got them tied up in, or the flogger falls apart in your hand while you're trying to use it. I don't want people to have that experience with Bondatrix equipment, and I think that, combined with the customer service, is why we've been going for so long and won awards in that time as well, which has been brilliant. I won the leather bondage gear category in the International Bondage Awards. I came first in that category once, and I think second or third another year before they stopped running. And then more recently, the UK Fetish Awards has started up, and I won the best BDSM business the other year, and then this year I came a runner-up in the top 3 places for that category again. So that's been a brilliant recognition of my achievement over the years, building up and maintaining this great fetish business that I love running, that I've had loyal customers now for the 20 years that I've been running it, which has been lovely, as well as finding lots of new customers all the time. You can shop with me on bondatrix.com, the main website. That's the best place to shop. That has the widest range. It has the best prices. If you don't feel like trusting a completely new website that you don't know, there's always PayPal that you can buy with on there, as well as all the usual credit and debit cards. But we do have an Etsy store as well. The prices are slightly higher to cover the Etsy fees. But if you feel more secure shopping on Etsy, or you've already got your cart details plugged in and it's just simpler, we do have an Etsy store. And we trade at various markets and events occasionally. The most regular one we do is the BBB in Birmingham, the Birmingham Bazaar. But will occasionally be found at other places. Or if you're passing on the M1, we don't have a shop where you can just pop in, but if you make an appointment to come over and shop in person, then you can come and view bits in person and try them out before you buy. Or if you want an outfit, that can be a great way to either be measured up or to buy something off the peg from us that's already made. I hope that's been an interesting introduction to me and my business. And have a look through all our other videos on the Bondatrix channel on YouTube.